Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to round number 6 of PSGL on F1 25. Today we are driving around China and we're heading out for our first Q1 lap. Now, F1 Esports, I've always had good results here, but I feel like lately, in the past few years, I haven't been great in qualifying around here. I mean, 2021, I wasn't great either because I qualified P14. But we won the race. And then last year, we did win the race, but qualifying was a bit of a fiasco with the slipstream. So I feel like we need to improve a little bit on our qualifying pace around here. Probably one of my weakest tracks in qualifying, together with Zandvoort. So yeah, let's see if we can get a good qualifying in here today. If not, I'm going to have to do some extra practice for F1 Esports around here in qualifying. As you can see, the standings 13 points behind Freddie Rasmussen. Point system not the same as real F1, of course. You can see the point system in the top right. So those 13 points are quite a lot. It's basically one P2 finish if Freddie doesn't score any points. But yeah, Freddie's on a 4-win streak, and we're not. So we haven't even won a race this season. The only reason we're not further behind is because Freddie had one DNF in round number 1. As I'm letting Istvan through there on the long back straight, still trying to warm up my tires. Now you might be wondering, why is there a black box in the bottom right? I forgot to turn off my camera in my last stream, so it was empty. So I decided to charge it a little bit for qualifying, and then in the race my big hat will be back in the bottom right. But yeah, first Q1 run here. The plan is the same as always, trying to get into Q2 on a single set of tires. And as you notice there, turn 1 we bottomed out a little bit. I think there's some kind of bump there. And you might be thinking, why do you not raise the ride height? It just doesn't fix the issue. You're still bottoming out. So yeah, I think there's some issue with the track, but everyone has that issue. Sometimes you bottom out, sometimes you don't. It's a little bit like, I think, turn 6 or 7 in Austria on this game, where sometimes you bottom out, sometimes you don't, and no one really knows why. Raising the ride height doesn't help. Nothing seems to help. So, yeah. Into Sector 3 we go. It's going to be 51.218. Now, that can mean a lot. It all depends on this last sector, which a lot of time can be found. It's only 3 corners, but they are 3 really difficult corners. Actually, it's a little bit more than 3 corners. It's the spoon section, the hairpin, and then the final corner. So I'm just going to call it 3 corners. But yeah, it's they're really difficult. Hairpin, for example, you have to brake as late as possible, but it's a really low minimum speed corner, so you can gain a lot of time by carrying a lot of speed, but then you also need a good exit, so it's really difficult. And in this last corner, very difficult to hit right, carry a lot of speed, easy to invalidate. And that lap only puts the speed 10, and that means we had to go again. Now into the hairpin we go. We're 110 up, but yeah, that was the second last car that just went over start finish, and that means we're through already because we're still in P13. So we're going to come across the line, improve by 1/10, but we're already through anyway. So yeah, I wasn't happy with both laps because actually I was happy with both laps. That's the issue, that we're happy with the lap and we're P9. At the same time, you know, we're only 800s away from P1. So the margins are small, and yeah, it just seems like we're lacking a little bit of pace. Istvan Pukki out in Q1 together with Lucas Blakely, Tycho, Hardy, and Wilson. Huge. Thomas Runner out in Q1 as well, but that wasn't his actual pace. He had a quali ban from last week, Suzuka, I think so. So yeah, that was our used tire in Q2. We went P2, but yeah, that doesn't really matter too much because new tires, as you can see in the top right, gains you a lot of time. And yeah, that final corner wasn't really smooth, and we actually lost time to our used tires there. It's only P12. And yeah, into the final sector we go. We are not up on our lap so far. We were equal going into sector 3, and we're down in P14, but still lots of people to cross the line. So we need something in the next 2 corners, or we're out in Q2. We are gonna need some proper time. We currently have got a 1:30.6 on the board. The fastest that has just been set is by Ismail Fassi, a 1:30.3. And as you can see, that hairpin was absolutely ridiculous and gained us an extra 3/400 through the final corner we go. That was very lovely again as well. And it's gonna be a 1.4 tenths up, and it gets us into Q3. But as you can see, not by a lot. It's only P8. Again, we're just squeezing through. Again, we just don't seem to have the pace. We got through by exactly half a 10 to Joris Cruzen, Joshi Do, Ruben Pedreno, Tom Manley, and I think Alvaro Carlton in P15 there. So Q3, we didn't have 2 new sets of tires, so it all comes down to this last run here in Q3. And yeah, based on what I've seen so far in Q1 and 2, we are really not looking a lot better than P8, P9 or P10. So yeah, I really struggled in the final corner. Even in our final run in Q2, we did gain half a tenth, but it was under the limit, it was too slow. Yeah, it just wasn't committed. So I told myself, you know what? We are either gonna be P9 or P10 or P8. We don't have the pace, so might as well just completely send it in the final corner and just hope it sticks, because it doesn't matter too much anyway. There's more to gain than to lose. So to the next left hand, a little bit of a lock up, but we're still 3 tenths up. But that is 2 used tires, remember that. Freddie Rasmussen, our teammate in P6, 9,000 down on him. So it's gonna come down to this last sector if we wanna be fighting for some decent position here. Nicolas Longe goes to provisional pole with a 1:30.119. Ulas Zildrin goes faster at a 1:30.052. We got a 1:30.9 on the board at the moment. So if we do not improve anymore, we on for a 1:30.4. That's 4 tenths off. But this hairpin, lots of time to be found, and that makes it 6.5 tenths up. And now into the final corner, we're gonna absolutely send it. We cut a lot on the inside, and that was finally the one time we hit it correctly. It's a 1:30.182, and that puts us on P7 on the grid. Yeah, again, it just felt like a good lap, but the pace was just not quite there. We're not far off. I mean, we're only half a tenth away or something from like P2 or P3. So we're not far away, but just missing a little bit of pace, a little bit, which is frustrating.
Oh, well.
But yeah, P7, it's not the end of the world. We can do good from here. Not an easy track to overtake, that is for sure. Especially on this game. Obviously, there's a long back straight with 2 massive hairpins. But a long straight, obviously everyone is going to have DRS and slipstream is non-existent. So it doesn't matter if you're close or far away, you're still going to have to outbrake someone massively into the hairpin. And yeah, in a DRS train, that's difficult because you'll most likely hit the car that's ahead of the person you're trying to overtake. So we're going to be starting on the mediums here. Past 2 races, we've started hards. Now we're going to go the opposite way. We're going to be starting on the mediums. We are choosing to track position here, or at least that's what we're going to try and do. Freddie Rasmussen, our teammate, and Alfie Butcher behind us on the hards. It is going to be 5 red lights. And away we go. We got 1 hard runner ahead. Julian Klavenbach in P4. We do seem to get a better launch into turn 1. We're going to go around the outside, which just doesn't seem to work too great on the F1 games. Not sure why, but it just doesn't work. I don't know whether it's grip or it's something else, but you just lose so much time by driving a wider line. So both me and Otis got a little bit screwed there by just being forced into that wider line. But into the next hairpin, we're going to go. It's 3 wide up ahead. And that was a little bit crazy, but it's good for us. We're trying to go around the outside of Nicolas Longe. It just doesn't seem to be the grip for us at the moment. So yeah, we just have to tuck back in to P7, where we started. Duncan Hovland behind us. Freddie Rasmussen, teammate, battling I think for P9 at the moment. yeah, not much happening yet.
Julian really just gained 2 positions on hards.
And yeah, I can even say that Julian actually gained 1 position starting on the hards. And that is the dream start.
Yeah.
If you start on the hards, you just need to survive the opening 1, 2, 3 laps. And he's already survived 1, the most difficult one. So yeah, straight away from the get-go, I think at this point he is the favorite to win this race. Just because of the strategy. And actually, there's an incident up ahead. I'm gonna have to survive Barry a little, or avoid Barry a little bit there. And Nicolas actually got an illegal...
Longay got an illegal overtake.
And yeah, I can even say...
So unlucky.
Nicolas Longay got an illegal overtake for avoiding an incident. It's just so unfortunate. Or you might be thinking, why doesn't he just take the penalty and get it removed after? And that is because there's been this issue in the game since F1 2017 or 18, where there's no option to turn off stop and go and drive through penalties.
Because one is an Alpine.
And yeah, so if he ignores it, then he's gonna have to take a stop and go. And that's his race for sure over. So the only way he was gonna survive this race is gonna have to give that position back, which was frustrating because he had to not just let Barry go, he also had to let me go. And yeah, it just screwed his race quite a lot. But a lot of people boxing early, from the mediums to the hards. We are 1.07 seconds behind Julian Klaffenbach. Because I've gone a little bit deep in the right-hander. Yeah, this is not going to be easy because we're 8 laps deep into the stint, and at this point the hards are faster. So we're going to need to work really hard to make up this 1.1 second deficit. Now it's not a 1.1 second I'm trying to overcome. It's 0.3. So we can get the DRS and we can stay out for a few more laps. And you can see Julian has gone wide there. And that gives us the opportunity. We're sliding around as well, but that's because our tires are starting to drop off. And that's why so many people boxed onto the set of hards to cover off people that were going to undercut or trying to undercut. So 1.3 seconds is the gap now.
Yep.
And yeah, we need to try and get back into the DRS. So we can at least stay out another 2-3 laps without losing too much time and minimize the undercut people are going to get. Yeah, not going to be easy, but as you can see, into the final corner, the gap is 8.7 tenths in the top left, and that means we're going to get DRS on this straight, at least. So it's not a massive straight, we're going to gain a little bit, but we're still going to have to work really hard in the first and in the middle sector to stay within the DRS of Julian ahead. Our battery is pretty much drained. I expect pretty much the same from Julian a little bit here, as I've gone a little bit deep there into the next left-hander. But it's okay because we are on lap 11 now, and yeah, we've extended already 4 laps more than anyone else apart from Barry Borman on the medium. So
I'm boxing now because
we are going to have at least a 4-lap advantage to the rest of the medium hard runners, and the one we do not have an advantage over is 2.4 seconds back. So we lost DRS, but it is lap 11. 11 laps on the mediums is quite a long way. At the start, I've locked up a little bit into the pit lane. That's a little bit of flashbacks to 2007. But we make it into the pits. Luckily, there's no gravel trap there anymore. Onto the hards we go for a 17-lap stint. And everyone you can still see out on track, apart from Barry, is on the hard. So a lot of people on the alternative strategy. And yeah, we're going to come out pretty much in last place from the medium hard runners, apart from Istvan Pukki and Barry Borman, we're still out on track. So yeah, 2.2 seconds is the gap to Georgie Doble ahead, who boxed I think in lap 6. So yeah, we have a 5-lap tire advantage, which around China is quite massive. But we still need to catch up and then also pass. Midway into lap 13 though, you can see we're 5 tenths behind. Recharge our battery a little bit again, and now we can go for a move on this long back straight. Trying to get some clean air on my front wing, and now we're going to go for the move on George Idowu. Question is, how much straight line speed does he have to us compared to us? And he has started flashing, which means he's under 10%. I ran a little bit into the back of Josh there, which was not too smart for me. But into the hairpin we go. Josh overshoots the corner a little bit. And he either let us go there because he felt like he pushes on the track, or he ran out of battery, or he had no traction on the whole tires. I'm not sure. But up to P17, that's the first move done. We got another, I think, 5-6 moves to make before we're in the net race lead, which is easier said than done on this game. But we got a big tire advantage at least. And now we're behind Nicolas Longuet, who boxed in lap 6. And we're going to try and go for a move on the long back straight once again. Into the next right-hander we go. Trying to get some clean air on our front wing again. Can't quite pull it off this time, but we are only 2.5 tenths behind. And we have 5 lap fresher tires. So here we go. Pretty straightforward move. More straight line speed, perhaps more battery. But into P16 we go, which is a net P5 in this race. So, yep, 4 more moves to make. And then we're in the net race lead. But we need to do it fast because our tires will be slowly going off as well. We're obviously pushing really hard to get as close as possible and make some moves as well. Into the final sector we go again, and onto the long back straight we go. Trying to get close to Duncan ahead. Seems to have great traction off Spoon Curve. And he's not too far away from Otis as well. So, yeah, we're going to have to come from quite far here. Once again, seems like we have a little bit more straight line speed. Not much, but it's a little bit. And this is a really long braking zone. So we go down the inside of our fellow countryman, Duncan Hovland. And now we go side by side into the final corner. We're slightly ahead. And Duncan decides to back out because he saw as well. Going side by side through there did not go well on the opening lap for Otis and Barry. So he decided to back out of that one. And now we're going to try and find our way around the outside of Otis, perhaps. Can't find our way past. And yeah, we have to sit back for now. This next hairpin coming up is an overtaking opportunity as well. So we can have perhaps a little look down the inside. Quite a long braking zone. We have a little look. Otis goes deep into the corner. And this gives us the opportunity for a better exit on those fresher tires. We're right tucked in behind in his gearbox. Decided to turn off the battery, and now halfway through the corner with some clean air on front wing, we're going to go for it around the outside, which turns to the inside for the next right-hander. Otis leaves us a space. We leave him the space in the next left-hander again. Midway in this battle, I lost force feedback as well in the left-hander there. Otis leaves us just enough space there on the exit, and we get the move done with slightly more momentum around the outside, up to a net P3. 2 more cars in between us and the net race lead. Just have to recharge our battery a little bit. Now, the next 2 are going to be the hardest, simply because they've got the freshest tires, probably out of the bunch. They have been sitting in a net race lead. They've been able to save a little bit of tires, and we have not really. Even though we boxed 5 laps later, we need a tire advantage to make moves. So, lap 18, and we're going to go for a move into the hairpin. It is too wide, unfortunately, so I have to tuck back in, making it 3 wide into that hairpin. Is just not very smart. So again, we have to play it smart. However, as you can see that in P5, Julian Klaffenbach on a fresh set of mediums. He only boxed at the end of lap 15, so his tires are 3.5 laps old, and they're soft mediums, or softer tire, they're mediums. So he's gonna have an advantage. The question is for how long? And the question is, can we make some moves before that so we can battle him in the end? And now into the hairpin we're going to go. We go around the outside. Ismail goes down the inside again. We decide to go for a switchback, but we've been tapped around. And that ruined our switchback a little bit. And now we're under pressure from Julian Klaffenbach on a fresh set of mediums. So it's going to be difficult to defend for sure. And this has set us back a little bit. So we're straight away going to go on the attack again into turn number 1. It's too wide again. No way through for us. And Julian just manages to sneak his way past. Somehow, he manages to sneak his way through. And hats off, there was not even a car's width of space. And he managed to get through without any overspeed or without carrying too much speed, as we've been hit again. Yeah, he somehow managed to find his way through without even a slightest bit of contact. It was incredible, really impressive. So yeah, we have to settle for P4 at the moment. Julian up to P2 now, and at this point it looks like he's the favorite to win, but there's still quite a lot of laps to go. And we saw in at first in those mediums do not like to do a lot of laps. So we just have to try. I think get past Ismail here first before we can even have a go at Julian again. We got our teammate Freddie Rasmussen behind us, but as you can see in the top left, he's got a 10-second penalty for speeding into the pits. So that's really unfortunate, because otherwise he could have gone for 5 race wins in a row, because he boxed a lap later than Julian. But as you can see, Ismail's gone on the ERS harvesting, but as we go for the move, he just opens the steering wheel and runs us up the road. Which, yeah, I mean, it's an easy way of defending. The second someone goes for a move, you just open the steering wheel. But yeah, perhaps not so legal. We'll see. You never know with PSGL stewards what it's going to be. So we just have to continue and keep pushing hard to try and make another move again. Into the hairpin we go. We're going to try and go around the outside. We brake really deep. And unfortunately, we cannot find our way through for now. But we just have to keep trying. We're in a net P4, of course, with Freddy's penalty. But yeah, we just couldn't really make another move again. So we had to stick to P5 on track. And Thomas, who actually started in second last place up to P6 on a really fresh set of mediums. I think he boxed in lap 18 or 19, so he went really long and then just went for a lot of overtakes. And it has worked. He's up to P6. Really, really impressive. I did not expect to see him in lap 28. But we're going to have to defend here quite hard, I think so, to stay ahead, because he's going to have a lot better tires. So yeah, it will be difficult to keep him behind, but we have the advantage of the dirty air. You can see we're dropping back to 7/10, 8/10. Our tires are pretty done as well. And yeah, we're going to have DRS as well. So I think he's going to have to be within 2/10 exiting Spoon Curve if he really wants to have a go. We're going to have a full enough battery to use the wall way, this wall back straight. He's 3.3 behind. And yeah, because we're quite far behind Ismail, we can brake really late into the corner as well, which is going to make it more difficult as well to go for a big send into the hairpin. And yeah, we managed to stay ahead. It's going to be P5 on track, P4 after Freddy's penalty, and perhaps P3 after the stewards, but again, in the past, I wouldn't even be surprised if I get a penalty for it at this point, but you never know with PSGL. It's just a lottery. So yeah, P4, and we have gained some good points to Otis in the championship, extending our lead to him, and we've closed obviously a lot to Freddy, who got the 10-second penalty. If you get a 10-second penalty, your race is done, because you can see the field is so close, the top 10 is covered within 5 seconds. Yeah, your race is done. I think 10 seconds is really harsh for speeding in the pits, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Ciao.